It feels good being a Manchester City fan. Once again, we're back to winning ways. Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, Jeremy Doku, but we got to start with Erling Haaland. 12 goals. It's September, the 19th of September, and Erling Haaland has played 7 football matches and he's scored 12 goals already. He's taking the absolute piss out of everything that's put in front of him. And up next, it's Arsenal. It's going to be tough. I wouldn't be surprised if they do manage to stop Erling Haaland, but will they be able to stop Manchester City? Because I do feel like there's a real possibility that this City side can go there and get something. Get something from the Emirates. We feel good again, you know? And it all came down to that sensational moment of brilliance from Erling Haaland, the ingenuity, the intelligence to flick it over Kratos' head. Milenkovic-Savic, the Napoli goalkeeper, now known as Kratos, and his great big bushy beard.
I used to hate facial hair, but then it grew on me.
But we've got a god of our own, and his name is Erling Haaland. The guy is unbelievable, and we've got players. The best players are now returning back to their best form. Rodri was brilliant, absolutely sensational. Hour of football for Rodri. Came through it unscathed as well, ready for Arsenal. Phil Foden looks back to his best. Doku seems to have gone round another corner and improved. He's gone up a level compared to previous seasons. And Erling Haaland is just doing what Erling Haaland does. And between the sticks, we've got a goalkeeper who wasn't tested very much yesterday, had one save to do. So this is what we're going to do in this video. We're going to combine the player ratings of the Napoli game and also include a bit of an Arsenal preview at the end. So stick around for the end of the video to see what I've got to say about Arsenal, the missing players and the predicted 11 and things like that. But let's start with Donnarumma. One important save again. So reassuring. It's just so comforting to know that we've got a goalkeeper that can do that. In the first half, that's it. That's all he had to do the whole game. One very important save at 0-0 keeps us very much in the game, and we win the game from that point on. These are the moments we need, you know. And we've suffered in moments like this in the past, but having a goalkeeper like that that can present that level of comfort for our back line, it's amazing. Other than that, he could have got his deck chair out, read a book, had a smoke if he wanted to have a smoke. I don't know why. You're a professional footballer. I'm not sure they do smoke, but pretty sure they don't. But if he wanted to, he could have done, and he'd have probably gotten away with it. No one would have noticed. No one would have noticed. Great performance from that one particular save. Diaz, very little defending to do, in all honesty. Saw lots of the ball, though. 103 touches, as you can see. There were some sloppy passes in there, though, I felt. And it's not the first time I've said that this season. He's got to sort this out. And it's in dangerous areas. It's in dangerous moments of the game on the halfway line where he tries to find a difficult through ball right through the heart of a midfield. And if it comes off, it's great, brave. But if you get it wrong, it can kill us. You know, and a few times yesterday, he was giving the ball away. But still, came forward with a bit of purpose. He got a few shots away. He got a clean sheet at the end of the day. So I'm not going to be too critical of him. AK-45, that is how you retain the ball. I mean, 99% possession. People disrespect passing accuracy. You know, fucking football hipsters, you know, who completely neglect the foundations of the game. Do you know what I mean? As if passing accuracy means nothing anymore because we've got new stats, which I'm very fond of, by the way. I use them frequently on this channel. You know, all sorts of new stats that the scientific approach to football has now presented the average fan to get hold of and use to their own advantage to push a certain agenda, when I actually think passing accuracy is still a very integral part of the game. And we're not talking about 4 or 5 passes here. We're talking about 78 out of 79 from Kusanov. You know, so it's not like it was, you know, there's still some context to be applied, but he was coming forward in occasions. 99% passing accuracy is very good in my book. Very impressive. You know, really good defensive numbers as well from AK-45. So, yeah, I think he's got to be playing now. I'm pretty sure he's going to play against Arsenal, and I look forward to it. Josko, very good performance, reading the game well, as you can see. 3 interceptions, came forward well in occasions as well, similar to Diaz in terms of his intentions to come forward and actually offer something in an attacking sense. And he did force Kratos into a few saves as well. So I thought it was a really good performance from Josko. Nico O'Reilly, another solid, steady performance. A few loose passes in there. but they weren't in dangerous positions. They were higher up the pitch where you expect to lose the ball a little bit more frequently. Again, applying context, but still, O'Reilly, I thought he was really solid. And I don't think it's a coincidence that if you remember, there was a little spell last season, in the final third of last season, where Nico O'Reilly started to play quite a few games and we started to keep clean sheets. He's in the team. I'm not saying it's on him entirely, but I do think he's a vital component to Manchester City's defensive capabilities because I think he's very good at defending one-on-one situations. He's very good, very mobile, very big. He wins his aerial duels quite well. He's a solid player. You know, out and out midfielder in all honesty, but I think we've got very good cover. Question is, Aït-Nouri might be back. He might be back for the Arsenal game. Would you throw Ryan Aït-Nouri in and drop Nico O'Reilly, who's been playing incredibly well? Would you change this side now just to get a new signing in? Because he's, new, fresh, exciting. He goes forward with a bit more purpose compared to Nico O'Reilly. Would you do that? I'm not sure I would, in all honesty. We can definitely rely on him. A very trustworthy performance from Nico O'Reilly. Rodri, I've given him man of the match and think that's going to surprise a few of you, in all honesty, because he didn't get on the score sheet and he didn't get an assist, but that's not what it's all about, is it? This was close to vintage Rodri, is what we're talking about here. I mean, look at the numbers. 3 key passes, winning his duels, 2 tackles, 3 clearances. I know most are likely going to disagree with this and go with Doku and Foden and Haaland, but this was a Rodri throwback performance, and this was an hour. Those numbers are from 1 hour of football we're talking about, not the full 90 minutes. It was a great, solid, very classic Rodri. It really was. I thought he was dictating the whole tempo of the game for the hour he was on the pitch yesterday. Incredibly composed and incredibly impressive. And I really think that was the performance he needed personally to take into this Arsenal game. It was kind of a perfect setup for the Arsenal game. I think this game was perfect in the way it panned out, coming off unscathed as well, no injuries from the game as well. So I've given him man of the match. I know most of you are going to disagree. Let me know your man of the match in the comments below. Nico G. It was like Rodri never left the pitch, in all honesty. These numbers are just a continuation of Rodri's numbers. 100% aerial duels and ground duels. It was only half an hour, but it's just so reassuring to know that Rodri is here for the foreseeable, and is going to be on the pitch for the majority of the time that he's fit and ready to play. But Nico Gonzalez, if we lose Rodri, I'm not sure we're losing that much when we lose Rodri now, whereas last season we left a big gaping Rodri-shaped hole. Nico Gonzalez is filling that with a great performance in that small half-an-hour cameo against Napoli last night. Question for you, would you start him? Would you start Nico Gonzalez and Rodri together at any point this season? If there are any fixtures out there, there is a possibility that you think Arsenal and the fact that they have the ability to do serious damage to opposition, the likes of Liverpool as well and potentially Real Madrid, would you like to sit 2 defensive midfielders in front of the City's back line with Nico Gonzalez and Rodri together? But who would be expendable? Would you get rid of Foden? Would you get rid of Reinders? Someone else in the team? Let me know in the comments below. But I mean, I feel for Nico because I think he deserves to start. It's just you've got Rodri ahead of you, unfortunately. Let me know in the comments below. Bernardo Silva. I didn't think he'd start this game, actually, but it was a solid performance. He was all right. He was very good, actually, in all honesty. The numbers reflect that. Great ball retention. Nothing dazzling, but a good game. Overall, good game. Again, question for you. Would you start him versus Arsenal, though? Because I really thought this was the game to rest him. Therefore, he would play against Arsenal. The fact that he played the full 90 and also played the game against United as well. Arsenal at the weekend, 2 days later, well, 3 days technically later. Would you start him against Arsenal? For me, probably not. That might be the one change to a winning formula that I would make going into this Arsenal game. But you know Pep, you know he loves him. He's got to play him somewhere. He's got to put him somewhere. So it'll be interesting to see where he puts him, if it's on the starting 11 at least. Reinders bagged an assist as well. Don't forget Reinders, which was pleasing to see. Definitely helps his score. Looked much better than I thought in recent weeks. I thought he upped his game, looked like he had a point to prove, came forward, had a lot of shots as the numbers reflect, forcing Kratos into some saves. I would like to have seen him win some more of those ground duels that you can see, but I still feel like it was a decent performance from Reinders, another step up in performance. And I thought in the first half in particular, Rodri and Reinders, they were the standout 2 for me in that first half, whereas I thought the rest of the side was still good. They were ticking on and they were playing a decent game. I just thought those 2 were better than they were in the Manchester derby, I felt like. So it was good to see. Foden, I mean, The assist was just delicious, wasn't it? Like, what a little cheeky little pass that was. He was puppeteering the midfield, though, outside of that. 8 key passes. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Incredible stuff. What pleased me most in this game, though, was how fit he looked. How energetic he looked. He looked like, I keep saying it now, we've got our best players back to our best form. Why shouldn't we now feel confident from what we've just seen in those 2 games? The Arsenal game will be a real indicator, a real benchmark to where we actually are. And I think we might receive a loss in this game. I think we might, but I just don't want to get spanked. I think it could be a close game where I do think we could come away with a win or come away with a draw. I think we want to make it a close game. I feel like it will be a closer game than it certainly was last season with the 5-1. I'm not going into this game confidently thinking we're going to win. I'm not that deluded just from those 2 performances because it was 10 men Napoli and a Manchester United side that are absolutely dog shit. So I'm not going to get too excited about those performances, but there was so much to get excited about individually. Player-wise, form-wise, momentum-wise, there's stuff to be positive about. Rodri, Foden, Haaland, Donnarumma, Doku, fucking brilliant, man. All 5 of them. I thought Rodri and Reinders yesterday, you can add them to the list as well. So, buzzing. The defence is looking solid as well, keeping clean sheets. So, lots of stuff to get excited about. And Foden being one of the key components of Manchester City returning to form, I don't think it's a coincidence. Doku. Second half magic again, electrifying goal. It wasn't coming off for him in the first half. I was in the process of criticising him when he scored, which he shut me up straight away. And I love to see. I'm more than happy to be shut up by a Manchester City goal all day long. Love that. Love it. Jeremy Doku, mate. What a goal. What a goal. There was an element of struggling to his game in that first half because I thought Politano was actually dealing with him very well. Very few times did Doku actually get past Politano, in particular in the first half. Crosses were being blocked. He then got booked, Politano, and had to be substituted off at the risk of being sent off and going down to 9 men because you're going up against Jeremy Doku, who's going to be constantly dangling the carrot in front of you. And maybe if you bite again, you're getting a second yellow card. So he had to come off, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Doku's game went up a level when he left the pitch because he was doing very well against Jeremy Doku. But take nothing away from him. It was a scintillating goal. Brilliant second half performance from Jeremy Doku. There was still those moments in the first half. I'm thinking the breakaway at the halfway line. He had Haaland ahead of him. It was a poor pass to Erling Haaland. I thought the cross being blocked a couple of times by Politano. There was a corner that came in. He brought it down on his chest. Poor control, and he just couldn't execute that shot away because of the touch off his chest wasn't quite cushioned enough. Those little moments again, but when you are constantly banging at the door, the amount of times, the frequency in which Doku bangs on the door's going to come down eventually. Because you keep doing it to that level of which Jeremy Doku's capable of. It's coming down eventually. The hinges are going to buckle eventually, and buckle they did. You know what I mean? He smashed his way through and pocketed it to make it 2-0. Great stuff from Jeremy Doku. Moments, that's what we need from him. Savinho came on for Doku. He's got to get... he's finding his rhythm. He's finding his rhythm because there was a few silly passes in there. There was a moment where he gave it straight to a Napoli player. They turned and broke on us, but they were so knackered from defending the edge of their own box with 10 men for the majority of the game that they just couldn't get forward. Another team with another level of energy with 11 men might have punished us in that moment. So they're coming on. You want to be reassured. It's only 2-0. We need to be safe. He came on a few silly passes, but I still feel like Savinho, he's finding his rhythm, he's finding his feet, he's just back from injury. I think we'll be all right. I think it's a good option to have. Would you start him against Arsenal, though? Question. Not sure about it. Haaland. The impact, I felt like it wasn't anywhere near as visible as it was in the Manchester derby because you're looking at 14 touches. But there wasn't any defending to do, really. No going back for corners and clearing near-post headers. And he wasn't as animalistic running around the pitch as he was, being his typical unapologetically ruthless self. He wasn't doing that sort of performance, but he scored. Do not take that for granted. That goal was a level of ingenuity and improvisation that was just like we're talking about elite level of reflex thinking we're talking about here. Just to see that ball and decide in that split second that I'm going to just instinctual. You know, it's the guy. 12 goals in 7 games, and people still somehow have to find some bullshit caveat about, well, he doesn't do this and he doesn't do that. Well, should we talk about what he does do? Because no one else does what he does. No one else in the world has got the records and goal-scoring record that Erling Haaland has. So can we put that to his name rather than what he doesn't do? Because I don't see Donnarumma scoring goals and smashing it into the top corner, but no one's going to talk about that because it's not expected of him. We expect Erling Haaland to score goals, and score goals he does. So can we applaud him for that, please? Because he's very fucking good at it. Do you know what I mean? Fucking hell. Ake, Lewis and Bob, they came on for 10 minutes. I'm not going to be reviewing them. Such a short amount of time, not worth it. Arsenal. Massive game. Massive game. And imagine the feeling. Imagine the feel-good factor if we come away from the Emirates with 3 points. I mean, I still think it would be a good feeling not to lose the game. I think if we go there and draw, that'd be a great result. Because I think they went to Anfield with that way of thinking. They came into the game looking for a point, and they came away with nothing. I think the City side should be going there and looking for 3 points, not looking for the point. And you never know, we might come away with a point. You never know beyond that and come away with the 3 points if the footballing gods shine on us. And hopefully Kratos doesn't get involved with persuading those gods to do something different because he's still pissed off with the Napoli game. Anyway, missing players for Arsenal. Jesus, Havertz and Saka are definitely out. Odegaard is a doubt. He picked up a shoulder injury. But reports are suggesting that it might not be that bad, and this is a sort of an injury that you can recover from quite quickly. So Odegaard might be back for this game. It's a bit of a 50-50 situation, and Ben White is a doubt as well. Saliba is back from his injury as well. He played he was on the bench, against Atletico Bilbao, an unused substitute, but surely if he's fit and ready to go, surprised he didn't get any minutes against Bilbao, which makes me wonder how fit is he to not even give him like 10 minutes at the end of the game, or even 5 minutes just to give him a run out. No minutes at all for Saliba, which is interesting. But if he's fit, surely he starts against Manchester City. As for City, same names as before Napoli. I've obviously not heard from Pep Guardiola yet. So Marmoush, Cherki, Aït-Nouri, Kovacic and Stones is a doubt. Pep may give different news though, because Aït-Nouri seemed like he was close to a return. He might be able to return for this game. But again, I posed the question I posed before. Should we be playing Ryan Aït-Nouri ahead of Nico O'Reilly right now? Because he's gotten into the starting 11 O'Reilly, and I think he deserves to keep his spot, in all honesty. Do you think that, though? Let me know. But it's good to come through the Napoli game unscathed, going into that match against Arsenal with an 11 that we can be pretty excited about and confident about, that we are going to go there and potentially do something and come away with points, hopefully plural. That would be good. Right, predicted starting 11. So this is my Arsenal 11. Assuming that Odegaard is out, Moreno, that's the same midfield three that faced Bilbao. The only change I've made to that game, actually, is Saliba. I thought Eberechi Eze and Madueke were a little bit underwhelming, actually, in that game. And it must have been frustrating for the Arsenal fans to see the old names come back in, the likes of Martinelli and Trossard, and win the game. You know, frustrating in the sense that their new signings weren't performing, and then having to go back to the players that they probably wanted to see the back of last season, and particularly knowing that Eberechi Eze and Noni Madueke are coming into the 11, but it was those guys that won them the game. But I do think he's going to stick with it. Mikel Arteta, I think he's going to stick with Eze and he's going to stick with Madueke. But Saliba is an interesting one, because I think him being in the 11 is going to be a big factor to Haaland, and Gabriel versus Haaland as well. That duel, man, I am looking forward to that. Let's see who comes out on top with this one. Let's go with the City 11. I'm going to go with Donnarumma. Again, pretty close, to be fair, to what we saw against United, and pretty close to what we saw against Napoli as well. I don't see a reason to change the winning formula, in all honesty. Even if Ryan Aït-Nouri is fit, I just wouldn't bother, I just wouldn't bother risking it, So that back four for me, I'm more than happy with that. I think they can deal with what Arsenal throw at us. I think Ruben Diaz is going to have to win some aerial duels. That's probably a weak spot to his game. Victor Gyökeres, he's going to have to be strong in the air. Stones is a possible addition. If he's fit. Rodri, though, surely he plays. I think Phil Foden in midfield again. It's nice and easy now. When you start winning, it's getting easy. You know, we know what we're going to do, and we know what Arsenal are going to do, and we know what City are going to do. There's very few areas that I would change in both sides, in all honesty. It's only really the other side now. I think Doku has to play. He's on form. He has to play. It's only that gap there. You know, it's Bernardo Silva with 2 games back-to-back. Should he start? Savinho came on and he was underwhelming against Napoli, in all honesty. I'm not sure Savinho should start this game. With that in mind, I think Oscar Bob. Jeremy Doku, Erling Haaland, front 3. Take the game to Arsenal. I'm going to go, my head's going 2-1 Arsenal, but my heart is going 2-2. I rarely don't predict a City win, but in all honesty, I've got to think realistically about this one. I think 2-2 is what I'm going for in this game. What are your predictions? Get in the comments below. Let us know your thoughts. Make sure you're tuning in for the watch long on Sunday as well. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is typical City now, holding up